and welcome to week 9. Yeah, you heard me right. Of our movie review series leading up to my epic adventure to Universal Studios and Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida next year. For this week's movie review, we will be discussing The Wolfman. Just like the week before, this movie will be rated by 5 categories, and each one of those categories will have a rating scale of 1 to 10. 50 will be the max that this movie can receive as far as points, and we will have a bonus category called Secret Sauce. And just like last week, I will be doing a time-lapse drawing inspired by the film, so be sure to stick around for that. So grab your silver, or your silver canes. In my case, this is gold, so I hope I survive, because it's time for The Wolfman. We're first introduced to Larry Talbot, a Wales native who left for America many years ago, and who has now returned after the tragic loss of his brother. In hopes of reconnecting with his father, Sir John Talbot, Larry spends the first part of his day helping his father assemble a new telescope. While looking through the telescope, Larry spots Gwen Conniff, the local shopkeeper's daughter, in her room, and he's immediately smitten by her. He heads down to the local shop to strike up a conversation with her. Though Gwen repeatedly turns down his advancements, he tries to carry on the conversation by purchasing a cane. When purchasing the cane, Larry asks why it's so expensive, and Gwen explains the history of the cane and also of the werewolf poem.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
With his purchase in hand, Larry exits the store, only to see a group of traveling gypsies arrive in town. He jokes with Gwen that he hasn't had his fortune told in years, and repeats his invitation. Though she insists she won't come, that evening, Larry is surprised to see Gwen waiting for him, along with her friend Jenny, who is going to tag along with them to go see the fortune teller. At the camp, Jenny goes first to have her fortune read by Bella. But during the reading, Bella grows uneasy. He sees the sign, the pentagram, in her hand, marking her as the werewolf's next victim. In fear, Jenny leaves the tent, only to be chased down in the foggy woods by the wolf. Hearing her screams, Larry rushes in with his silver-woofed head cane and kills the beast, but not before being bitten himself. The next day, the townspeople discover Jenny's body. They believe that it was a wild wolf attack. Larry is shaken and insists that he was attacked too, but when he checks his chest, the bite wound has mysteriously vanished. Even stranger, the wolf he swears he has turned back into the body of Bella. Larry begins to unravel, haunted by what happened. He goes to a local fair where Maleva, Bella's mother, and the gypsy fortune teller warns him that he now carries the curse of the werewolf. When the full moon rises, he will transform into the beast. Larry tries to laugh it off at first, but her words echo in his mind. That night, the curse proves real. As the moonlight falls across him, Larry undergoes his first horrifying transformation into the Wolfman. His body is covered in fur, his hands curl into claws. Larry prowls the village, and by the morning, a gravedigger is found brutally slain. The next night, Larry transforms again and gets caught in a bear trap. The pain is enough to cause him to pass out and change back into his human form. Maleva finds him and uses a spell to allow him to escape before the hunting party finds him. As the wolf attacks continue, the townspeople grow restless, certain a beast is on the loose. Larry is terrified of what he's becoming. He confides in Gwen that he can't control it, and that he has to leave the town. And then when he goes to his father for help, his father dismisses it as just fears and superstition, insisting that Larry is just unwell. That night, Larry transforms again and attacks Gwen in the foggy forest. Sir John rushes in to protect her, wielding the very silver head cane Larry once bought in her shop. He strikes down the Wolfman in a desperate fight, only to watch in horror as the creature reverts back into his son, Maleva arrives, murmuring a prayer over Larry's body, bringing an eerie calm to the tragic scene. The film ends with Sir John cradling his son, the curse broken, but at a devastating cost. What makes the Wolfman so tragic is that Larry, at the heart, is a decent man. He's cursed not because he's arrogant, but he simply was there just trying to help someone. And against his will, he transforms into something terrifying and dangerous. He loses his humanity piece by piece. His chance of a peaceful life is ripped away, and in the end, he is slain by his own father. A fate that is heartbreaking. In a way, the Wolfman can be a metaphor for how fear, shame, and even the urge to protect loved ones can turn us into something we dread most. It's the universal battleground against the destructive forces within.
And the final verdict is...
The Wolfman is packed with many iconic performances that bring these characters to life. First, we have Lon Chaney Jr., who brings a heartbreaking death to Larry, the decent man who is then cursed into a werewolf. And then we have Claude Rains, who plays the dignified but skeptical father. And then, of course, we have Evelyn Ankers, who plays Gwen, the love interest, and adds compassion to the story. Then we have Maria Ospinskaya, who plays Maleva, who delivers a chilling prophecy. And then we have Bela Lugosi, the fortune teller, who passes on the curse to Larry. I think what makes these characters so great is that they aren't just black and white. They have depth to them. First, you have Larry, who isn't just a monster right when he gets bitten. You slowly get to see him lose his humanity. And then you have Gwen. Despite knowing that Larry is cursed, she still wants to try to help him. And then there's Larry's father. Rather than standing by his son, he's driven by the duty and the need to prove himself to the village. And in that neglect, he ultimately loses the very thing he was trying to protect, his own son.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the soundtrack for The Wolfman, credit goes to composer Hans J. Salter and Frank Skinner. With just 3 notes, they create the chilling motif that signals the werewolf's presence. What makes The Wolfman's soundtrack so iconic is its chilling, tragic tone. The deep cellos and sweeping strings highlight both the horror and Larry's slow loss of humanity. It's not only cements him as one of horror's most enduring monsters, but also sets the tone for future Universal monster film scores.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the visuals of The Wolfman, we can't overlook Jack Pierce's groundbreaking makeup design. Using rubber prosthetics, fake teeth, and thousands of hand-placed yak hairs, he transforms Lon Chaney Jr. into a truly convincing monster. Another thing that made the Wolfman's visuals so iconic was the innovative lap dissolve technique. By filming Lon Chaney Jr. in different stages of makeup and blending the shots together, the filmmakers created a seamless, horrifying transformation. The process took hours to apply, but on screen, the effect was shockingly quick and terrifying, setting a new standard for practical effects that still influence horror today.
And the final verdict is...
When it comes to the cultural impact of The Wolfman, we have to take into consideration that it established the modern werewolf archetype. It introduced the lasting elements like silver as a weakness, the curse being spread through being bitten, and more than just a monster's tale, it gave audiences a sympathetic figure in Larry, a man tragically torn between humanity and primal instinct. The themes of psychological torment, loss of control, and existential dread struck a chord during World War II, turning lycanthropy into a metaphor for repression, fate, and transformation. The film's tragic end and layered monster helped revive Universal Monster Universe and shaped werewolf stories for decades. Not only did The Wolfman set the template for modern werewolf films, but it also cemented the creature as a cultural icon. So iconic, it even ended up on a U.S. postal stamp. And let's be honest, without the Wolfman, we wouldn't have werewolves in modern movies. And really, how would we survive without Jacob from Twilight?
Just kidding.
And the final verdict is... And now secret sauce time. Does this movie have what it takes to deserve secret sauce? Final score.
Well, I hope you managed to make it out of there without it receiving any bites. If so, be wary of the moon. But no, seriously, this was the first time that I actually sat down and watched this entire movie. I remember seeing bits and pieces of it when I was a kid, but I really can say I enjoyed this movie, and I hope you enjoyed it too. But let me know down in the comments, is this your favorite werewolf? Or are you more partial towards the modern werewolves? Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel because I have many more classic Universal monster movie reviews coming down the pipeline. So you know you don't want to miss out on that. Until next week's review, I'll see you then. Bye.
That's for you, Kai.